There is a grave economic crisis in Russia tonight. The currency has all but collapsed, and panicked Russians are watching prices rise by the hour. Here's how bad it is. 6 months ago, 34 rubles would buy a dollar. Today, it took almost 70. So Russians holding rubles have lost half of their wealth. Today, in desperation, the central bank tried to break the fall, raising interest rates from 10% to 17%, but it didn't work. Russia is in a vice. The collapse of oil prices wrecked its main source of income, and U.S.-led sanctions after the invasion of Ukraine mean that Russia cannot borrow from Western banks.
Under pressure to come up with a plan, Russian President Vladimir Putin gave his end-of-year press conference. But rather than outline moves to combat the country's deepening financial crisis, the leader first wanted to blame someone.
Of course, the current situation is caused by external factors first of all.
During a speech to generals and officers at the Russian Defense Ministry, President Vladimir Putin has said that Russia is facing, quote, an inappropriate reaction to its efforts to defend national interests in the face of threats from many directions. He went on to say that the country's military doctrine remains, quote, purely defensive, but Russia will stand up for its security consistently and firmly. This comes following new sanctions from Canada and the U.S. on Russia over its actions in Ukraine. U.S. President Barack Obama called on Russia to, quote, end its occupation and attempted annexation of Crimea and cease its support for separatists in eastern Ukraine. The U.S., EU, and Ukrainian officials have accused the Kremlin of escalating the conflict in East Ukraine by sending regular Russian army troops and armor across the border to bolster militant insurgents. These claims have been further substantiated over the course of several months by a series of videos, photographs, and eyewitness reports provided by international journalists. In August, a Polish TV reporter filmed a convoy of Russian armor moving towards the Ukrainian border, whilst a correspondent from British Sky News reported Russian army columns crossing the border into Ukraine.
Note the matching uniforms of the men on the...
So what you've heard is Russia has stated that they are going to use defensive measures. All right, they already feel that the shots have been already fired across the bow because the low oil prices have actually driven the economy into the ground, and Russia's economy is in shambles right now, and it makes for a very dangerous and precarious situation that the world is in. Countries have gone to war because of the financial situations of countries. Let me ask you, if another country was directly responsible for causing the demise of America's economy, do you not think that we will respond? Sure we will. And so anyway, with the sanctions that's been leveled against Russia, it has absolutely crashed their economy, and they will respond. To them, that's a shot across the bow. So yes, they will use defensive measures. They will protect themselves. That's essentially what Putin is saying. And again, like I've been trying to tell everybody, I firmly believe that we've entered the tribulation period. People wonder, well, how on earth, what makes you think that? Everyone's been programmed and hardwired to believe that the tribulation starts at the signing of a 7-year peace treaty. The Bible does not say that, all right? From what I've read, when that treaty is signed, it will mark the start of the Great Tribulation, which is different than the tribulation. The Great Tribulation is the start of the second half of the tribulation period. And the reason why I believe that we've entered the tribulation period is because the Bible talks about the fig tree, and it's in reference to Israel. And basically, it's in a nutshell, it says, when Israel becomes a nation, this generation shall not pass until all these things are fulfilled. And I really believe he means pass away. This generation shall not pass. All right. So if you look at the 70-year generation, because that's an average lifespan of man, is 70 years, and that's also that's a biblical generation as well. Israel was reborn in the year 1948. All right, it's real simple math, folks. They were reborn in 1948 in one day, which was prophetic. Okay, and when you add 70 years, because this generation shall not pass until all these things are fulfilled, you will arrive at the year 2018. Now, when you subtract 7 years, okay, for the tribulation period, all right, then you will arrive at the year 2011.